And that's all part of Walking Women. It's seeking out other women who are entrepreneurial, trying to offer other types of travel experiences. But of course, we also want to show incredible scenery and inspire you. For us, it is all about the walk, connect, and really revitalize. And it's all about that. I'm Ginny, the owner of Walking Women since 2021 with my sister Sarah, who's there. We're close sisters. We grew up in Lincolnshire, which for those who don't know is the east of England, a very rural county, very outdoors. And so I think for us, the outdoors walking has always been completely in our blood. And in October, just gone, we hosted our first Walking Women holiday in Lincolnshire. And we also had people coming. We had 2 Canadians who flew over from Vancouver. So I think for me, that was a real testament to how far sometimes women travel to join other women for walking tours, which is what we're going to be talking about today. It's that, what is it that really brings women together to join walking tours? What we'll cover today, just so everyone's aware, I'll be talking about why Walking Women, who are we, and what women adventures do we provide? What's so great about hiking? That's what's bringing us all together. This is very much everything we do has hiking, walking at the core of what we do. I put hiking, walking because we've had some Americans on our trips that say, why are you walking women? It's really more hiking. But I think it's just a language thing. And what's really important is that you choose the right tour for you. We're very hot on that. It's talking to you, taking questions, making sure we've given you the information and that you know what is the right tour for you. And then questions we're often asked is about what can we expect? What's a typical tour like? And then people are always asking about what should I bring? We'll cover that. I wanted to start with the story of how I came to Walking Women. I was a teacher originally, and I have had various jobs in charities and working with unemployed youth for a number of years. I was happily living in London until my life completely changed in 2013. And I think it's important, I wanted to share this because for many women who come on group women-only holidays, it is often to do with a life-changing experience. Not always, but often we hear stories of people who've gone through some change in life. And my particular story was my partner in 2013 was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, which was quite out of the blue. We didn't expect it. And so suddenly you're faced with, how do you deal with something you really didn't expect? My life changed to hospital visits, giving up work. My partner gave up work. And sadly, 2 years later, she died. And that was that pivotal moment of, well, what is my life like now? I'd always holidayed together with her. We didn't go on group holidays. And so suddenly it was that moment of, what do I do now? And first thing I did, which was quite unusual, I should say, is my sister-in-law said, well, why don't we drive to Mongolia and raise money for the hospital that looked after my partner so well? So that's what we did. It was a time where I could think, I could really consider what maybe would come next. And off I went to Mongolia. And it really was travel, time to think. And I returned to, luckily, I have good friends, lots of walking women around me. And I returned from that trip to really start to think, I've got to focus on what is work, what do I do next? And all of them who were themselves people who'd gone on Walking Women holidays, and I hadn't. So Walking Women was already in existence. It will be 25 years old next year, but I hadn't had any connection with it until this point. So I listened to them and I thought, but actually, I'm more of a swimmer. So the first thing I did was go on a group swimming holiday. And this is all part of the story of finding what it is, that was really going to bring me back to a new life. So off I went on a swimming holiday to the Galapagos. I always kind of picked epic things. I was really keen to swim around an island. So one day off we went. We were told that you have to swim as a group because there's sharks underneath and they need to see that there's a whole lot of people all together. Then you're big and they won't come near you. Anyway, I was swimming around head down and suddenly from the boat, I heard Ginny, get out of the water. And I realized that lots of people had got out and the guys up front had just speeded on ahead and left me alone behind. So basically, I had to get out of the water. To be honest, I was extremely angry that I was left behind and I couldn't finish the swim. And it made me really think, what type of holiday do I want? What type of group do I want to be part of? And that was part of the thinking. And I returned to London from that experience to think, well, now I am going to try a women-only tour. I want to try something that maybe will be a bit more supportive, perhaps more encouraging. It's not always the case, but my experience was that led me to, I'm going to try a walking women trip. So I picked Norway and off I went to try something new, which was cross-country skiing. And from the moment I set off, I was met at the airport. Everyone was met at the airport in Oslo by the Walking Women guide, smiling face, welcoming face. That's part of the core of Walking Women that still exists today. And then together we got a bus up to Dalseta, which is where we still have a holiday now, and to be greeted by Greta and Wenche, who is the local Norwegian guide. And part of this story is to say, this is why sometimes it can be that women-only tours can give you just that little bit more encouragement, that little bit more support, that little bit more care and attention that sometimes we all need. And Greta has owned the hotel. It was built by her grandfather. And that's all part of the story of Walking Women. It's seeking out other women who are entrepreneurial, trying to offer other types of travel experiences. And we partner with those people to offer really wonderful walking experiences. And that experience for me was what encouraged me to think when I heard, and it was at that moment I heard that Walking Women was up for sale. The woman who ran it was ill. And actually that trip was what set in motion the story that is mine and my sister's Walking Women journey today. I'm going to show you now a video before I talk further, which shows you how magical Norway is and why this is one of the holidays, and 57 Hours has it on website, that is really popular and is what started the Walking Women journey for my sister and I. Instructions to pamper me, and I assure you that's the way that it is gonna be. I'm gonna sing a little, then I lead a little, then I read a little, meanwhile I smoke a little. There ain't anybody here gonna tell me what to do, 'cause I'm far away from home, and I ain't got a care in the world right now. Here I'm free, and it's places like this that really calm me down. But I wish that I could say the same about a London town. The music of the video is also part of the whole story that is Walking Women, because I hope you saw on the video the scenery, the way women were laughing, enjoying, hiking in amazing locations. But also, it was made by a woman, Laura, who was on that trip. And the music is by another woman. She's also a walking woman who is a songwriter, and she creates songs that really fit our videos, I think. And so she's part of our community, and it's something that happens, I think, when women go on holidays together. We get lots of offers of support, help, and it could be that it's people who write for us, people who speak for us, people who make music for us. It really is, for me, it's been incredibly special to see how that community of women grows. And that is Zora, who is our fabulous musician. And what else is special about our Walking Women tours? All of our guides are women. And it's something that 57 Hours also does very well, is to support women guides who are trying to find their way in an outdoor profession that was typically male dominated, but now there's many more women coming into that space. And it is quite unique that we only work with women guides. This is Wenche, who, again, you're hearing a little bit more about Norway at the moment, but she lives in the area. She knows the plants. She knows every inch of that landscape. And she also really is passionate about sharing that. And that is typical of all our guides. And she's even agreed to share her traditional recipe for gingerbread, which is now, I'm sure, being made across the globe, even though she had it as a secret recipe in her family. So that's what our guides are like. And Wenche is just one example. And then we have many other guides like Encarna, who you see here. Encarna, she was a woman who came to us and said, I've got an idea for guiding. I'm really interested in literature. I love Virginia Woolf. And can you believe, some people will know this, but Virginia Woolf walked in the Alpujarras of Spain in 1923. And Encarna came with a whole idea to walk in the footsteps of Virginia Woolf, to go to the Alhambra where she went, and then to go up to a tiny village called Jaén, where she spent many a day. And that's where she penned Mrs. Dalloway. So we offer more than just hiking. It's, you hike in beautiful places, but often we add something to it, like some culture, some particular literary trip. And there's all sorts of things that you can find in the variety of what Walking Women offers. And the other thing, Encarna is from Malaga, and Malaga has a spectacular light show. It's starting next weekend, in fact, and we'll be there. And it was her that introduced that to us. So it's all about that sharing, that collaboration, and that bringing more things to have great holidays for as many women as we possibly can. And another thing we offer, which this is just touching on some of the trips that we offer, but also explaining what's so special, is Angela is the woman there who's cooking something. She is our guide in Crete, and she has created a really brilliant relax and slow down type of walk, where you walk, in all of our holidays, you walk every day, but you also taste lovely food. And not only do you taste it, but you also get to learn how to cook local Cretan food. That's another hiking and more that we like to bring to you. And you see the feet of Claudia, our Swiss guide. One day it was so foggy and we were sitting there waiting for the fog to open to see the amazing views over the Alps. And whilst we were waiting, she said, well, I might as well just collect some nettles and we'll all have nettle soup for lunch. So, you know, the way our guides are so versatile and can bring so much more to the hike, we think that is something that's very special. But of course, we also want to show the fabulous scenes and inspire you by looking at wonderful scenery. And something else to share is that all of the photos you see are either taken by our guides, the guests who come on our trips. They're all real photos that we use. And it's important to us that we're showing you what you can expect to see. Some have got a better eye than others, and Alvina is one of our guides who lives in the Lake District in England, And she takes incredible photos to show you the Lake District, but it's all part of how we work together. We utilize the skills and talents of all of our community, and it creates something very special. A lot of what we do is hiking. Well, all of what we do is hiking, but sometimes as well, people say to us, well, actually, yes, I do want to go up high. I want to climb every mountain. I want to really do a longer trek. So I'm not interested in those flatter walks. I'm interested in climbing high. So we do offer some amazing high treks. Particularly, we find they're appealing to older women who've probably got more time, many retired, and they really want to still challenge themselves a bit. And that's really important too as well, that we can support women to really still step outside their comfort zone, be challenged, try something new. And we've got some incredible walks that allow you to do that. And something else I find is incredibly special about women-only tours is the time that people give to really helping women who might be struggling. You could see the woman holding out her hand. It's part of a hike on our pier at walk where the guide is behind and someone's trying to help the woman up who is struggling a bit on the rocks. And that is very common, that whole helping hand, really giving people time, encouragement to make sure everyone can do the walk. A group of women did the Portuguese Camino this summer. I could really see the bond that was created between that group. It's something that comes out of all of our holidays, some more than others, where you see that real connection. People really find the shared experience has brought them together. And we set up WhatsApp groups for all of our holidays, and many of them go on for years. They continue to provide a source of connection to women who've all had some shared experience together. And sometimes we've had women who go on a holiday together. We had some who went, one year they went to the Alpujarras in Spain. This year they went to Crete together, and now actually they're preparing for a holiday themselves to visit someone's home in Italy. So there's all sorts of ways that you can benefit from these all-women tours. And I think one of the strongest things, we always say it's all about walking, connecting and reviving. And I think for me, the connection is one of the strongest words in that. And you see it all the time. And we really make sure we set up holidays so that people have that time to eat together, to chat together, to laugh together, to just really take some time to be and enjoy the experience. And every trip, we're looking to provide some wow moments. You'll recognize the Northern Lights, and a little story of walking women from that. I took a group up to the Arctic, Norway, right up beyond Tromsø, to the very, very tip of the Arctic. And it was all in search of the Northern Lights. We saw nothing. And it was amazing. All the women, disappointed, of course, but still enjoyed the incredible landscapes of really north into the Arctic. But then back home in the Lake District, we had the sighting, as you can see there, and also in Norway, in Dalseta, which is much lower down. Apparently there were even sightings in Hull, in Scotland, in all the other places that we have things going on, but not where they were expected. We'd even researched to think that they might be sighted up north. But anyway, we try to create those wow moments, and sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. But it was very lucky that those women got to see Northern Lights. But sometimes it's not about the Northern Lights. It's just about spending time together, looking at the sky. You know, we have brilliant sunsets. That's a picture in Spain, in the Hacienda. I think in the audience, we've got Becca, who's yoga teacher there. And I'm sure she was there at that time where, you know, women are just taking that break to get out of busy lives, to really just stop, stare, take a moment. And we really encourage that. That's another theme that runs through all our experiences, is just take a bit of time. So for some people, it is that 57 hours. For others, it's just that bit longer where you can spend slow time, take a breath from your everyday life. And that for us is something we really like to create. And you can see that's actually Venka's boots, where she decided she'd get the whole group of women to just lie back and appreciate the view. We always have people who are interested in yoga. That was one woman doing her own version of it. And it's something that we often see people just start something and then other people join. And it's that encouragement again. It is important for us, and I would say it time and time again, just from busy lives, everything going on for people. Sometimes, life-changing events that make people come on a holiday. It could be a bereavement. It could be a divorce. It could be you've got caring responsibilities at home. It could be that you're alone and you don't feel safe traveling alone. There's all sorts of reasons that people come on group holidays, and we listen to what it is that women need. From our own experiences, my sister has a husband who's retired. She's become a granny. She's got all sorts of things going on at home, and sometimes she needs to just get away and have time for herself. So I think it's personal experience. It's listening to a lot of women who we walk with, and it's trying to create these wonderful experiences that just do give people that time away, time to breathe, time to really relax. It could be sitting in a hot tub in the French Alps. It could be putting your feet in a nice cold river, resting at the end of the day. So all of it is about hiking in lovely locations, but also that relaxing time in between. And all of our walks, which I'll come on to, are different levels, and you can select what appeals to you the most. So that brings us on to, well, what is right for me? What are you looking for out there? It's funny when I can't see anybody, but you might be looking at this thinking, oh, that looked nice. I'd love to be in that hot tub. Or, oh, yes, going somewhere where I could potentially spot the Northern Lights. Everyone has different things that inspire them to take a holiday. And sometimes we hear it's the dates. It could be simply, I'm free that week in June. Where can I go? It might be, I really always wanted to walk on the Eiger Trail in Switzerland. There's so many things, and we try and guide you to what might be right for you, because it is really important. It's not useful for you or for the guides if someone picks a holiday that isn't quite right and they suddenly feel, I am being left behind, or I'm really slowing the group down. So we do encourage everyone to really just have a conversation, and we can guide you. And how we guide, we use a goat system. And once we had an American, actually, she said to me, what are these goats the British use to grade their hikes? And I said, actually, it's not a British thing. It's just a walking women thing. That's it. And we've decided to do this, for a bit of fun, but also to try and be a bit descriptive, because mountain goats, they run up and down mountains. Some of us aspire to run up and down mountains, but we have goat one who's a bit slower, more gentle. And so all our goat one walks are more gentle, easier. Nothing's ever totally easy because we're still walking all day. We still need a certain level of fitness, but it kind of goes from 1 goat, 2 goat, 3 goat to our 4 goat treks. And it's to give some kind of indication of, generally a 1 goat, it's going to be gentler, less hours, less ascent. To, if you pick a 4 goat, you can be sure you're walking long days, you're going up hills, down hills. And on every single holiday, it's detailed the difference, but that's the general rule, is find your inner goat, find what suits you, you could be a 1 goat, but you want to be a 4 goat. We have lots of conversation about goats. Someone once said to me, well, do you have anything for an old donkey? We don't at the moment, actually, but we have things that are very suitable, and we think this holiday is for everyone. And if you're not feeling fit enough right now, we always say we can help you get fit. We've got a Get Goat Fit guide. We've got guides who will give time, giving fitness tips. There's all sorts of things we can do, because we are sure that being active is going to help us into longer life. And that's what we all believe in. We all want to stay active. We all want to stay healthy. And whatever we can do to help that, that's what we're all about. And so looking at our different holidays, more relaxed and slow are things like some of our more cultural walks, our literary walks, things that are a different kind of experience, still walking, but not so much like a long hike. So you would be looking out for things that are a bit more cultural. We have things that we actually call relax and slow down. And there could be some more cooking in it. Could be all sorts of things that mean it's a more relaxed holiday, and that might be just what you're looking for. These are our Canadians that actually came to Lincolnshire. They're all retired teachers from British Columbia, and they are very clear they want goat one. They don't want anything more, anything less. They want to be doing goat ones. They want to be relaxing. They've had good careers, and now is their time to chill a little. So they look for the goat one walks, and that's what they will choose. You might want something longer, flatter, high ups, high downs. Downs are horrible for dodgy knees. We have a lot of women who ask us about dodgy knees, and we say, well, these are walks where beaches, lakes, forests, all a bit flatter, but where you can still have a good hike. We did have a trip to Holland this year. Someone said, oh, that's a bit boring, but actually it's got really interesting cultural things to look at. It's got wildlife, birds, and you can be sure it's flat. Something else when you're choosing a holiday you might want to think about is, do you want to be challenged? Do you want to get out of your comfort zone? Do you like snow? Do you prefer heat? All of those things are considerations. And this young woman, Thao, she came for her first time snowshoeing in Switzerland last year. She absolutely loved it. She thought it was the best thing. She'd never even really considered it. It just popped up on her Instagram feed and she thought, wow, I'm going to try it. And she is herself an influencer. So now she's been influencing away, trying to encourage other people to take up that as a new activity. Because in the winter, it can be exhilarating. You might be interested in trying something new that is a different walk, which is in a river. That's a gorge walk in one of our holidays in the south of Spain. And for some, it's quite challenging because it can be quite deep depending on rain conditions. But the women who've done it have absolutely loved that unique experience. So where we can find those unique experiences, we certainly do. Just to say that for many, I do still like to think I'm 61 and I still expect to be climbing some high mountains as well as doing other walks, well, as long as I can do it. And we have things where you get up at 2 a.m. and you do a sunrise summit. We have others that are in the paths of glaciers in Switzerland. It's hard to avoid the height in Switzerland, but it's incredible scenery once you get up there. And we're getting a lot of interest from older women actually who really want to do a challenging walk. And one of the women who came with us 2 years ago actually was a woman who had been a Iron woman doing really challenging triathlons, all sorts of things. And she had breast cancer. She'd had a double mastectomy. And this was the first time she said, I just felt safe to join a group of women. My husband just thinks I'm nuts, but I really, really felt I needed to do this. So she joined us, and there was a point where we came to a remote mountain lake, and she said, we all said, so hot, we just wanted to dive in. And so we hadn't got swimsuits or anything. So guided by our lovely Swiss guide, she said, well, we're in Switzerland, you just take everything off, jump in, which we did. And for her, she had never shown her body since the mastectomy, and it was an incredibly moving experience. But it's another indication of how safe you can feel in the right company and how supportive and encouraging women groups can so often be. So that was something for her that she took away. And I think she's now returned to being an Iron woman. So the real message here is, and I'm hoping I'm kind of portraying that, for us, it is all about walking women. It's all about all women tours, all women guides, having time to walk, connect, and really revitalize. And it's all about that, being together, being part of this growing community of walking women. These are some of the trips. They're all on the website. I won't go into them in detail because I've given you touches of them throughout what I've been talking about. But if you have got questions on anything, we have many, many trips in Spain because it's very close to my heart in Spain. We always go to places where we have some connection, there's some reason. We have Sicily, Crete, Switzerland, of course, which is very popular. We've got new to us this year is Italy. We found an amazing woman guide who we're working with now in Italy. Scotland, my partner was from Scotland and was actually from the Isle of Bute. And so the first time we've got a walk there this year. So we have a lot in Scotland. We've got lots of connections, lots of incredible landscapes to be seen. Do check out all the holidays. And if anything interests you or if you want to ask anything, please do. And I've mentioned that's a real fave, hiking in the heart of the Swiss Alps, which some of the Swiss don't even know about this trek because we created it together with Claudia, the guide, who actually comes from that area. But you walk across the very heart of Switzerland, and the heart of Switzerland is actually the centre of Europe. So for those people who want to feel European, feel at the very heart of everything and really get up into those mountains, that's fantastic. And it's definitely a hidden gem. When people say, what can I expect? That's a message from us, is expect the unexpected. Really, you pick a guided tour because you have a guide. And it's very important to us that you trust that guide. They're local, they know their stuff, they really understand the area and what are the best walks for you. So we say, trust the guide. It's hard to say what is a typical day, but it starts with a good breakfast. You're walking all day. It could be a vegan breakfast. It could be a full English, but we start with a good breakfast. We set off together. You can always expect to set off together. Even if we have a big group, we may have 2 guides. Sometimes we even have 3, and you might peel off in different ways. But we do start the day, and if you're one group, you stay as a group. You stay with the guide, and you go at the same pace. And you are taken on walks where the guide will point out things you may not ever have thought of seeing. They know what are interesting landmarks, what are interesting things to point out. This was a stone that is a standing stone with a hole in it. Some might not think it's interesting, but it was one of those special little moments that the group loved to be part of. You may be on one of our wine walks. We quite like our wine walks, which are all about promoting women winemakers. They're another growing profession. There are lots and lots and lots of women, brilliant women winemakers out there. And we walk where we pass vineyards, we listen and taste. We listen to what they have to say about how they are running vineyards, producing wine, and you get to taste some of their amazing wine. Helen, who's here, has had that experience in Sicily just a few weeks ago, and it is a very popular and special walk. I don't think anyone else is doing women wine walks, not that I've come across. Hopefully I can give you some tips about what to bring. What we know now with climate change is weather is changing. Those hailstones were in the Alpujarras in southern Spain 2 weeks ago, and we had a group of women there. 3 had come dressed for the heat and the sun, and actually sadly they had to leave because it was just too raining and quite cold, and they just didn't have the right kit. So the message is really always bring layers, layer up, because even if you think it's going to be hot, it might not. It's always useful to have rain jacket. Norway, it was raining in August and then it was sunny in September. In Switzerland, there was thick fog in July, and you can get fog, but it was more persistent than usual. In the Lake District, it rained every day in a week's holiday. Sadly, that's quite typical for England. But for those who were dressed for the occasion, which was actually pretty much everyone, we walked every day. So it's all, if you've got the right kit, you can keep on walking. But it is important that you come with the right layers. We always say bring layers. And then we also give you the information so you know what the weather is likely to be. For example, Encana in Malaga, we're going there next weekend. She's just sent a message on the WhatsApp group saying the rains are over. It's 26 degrees and sunny, and it looks set for the weekend. So you know that actually you can pack some lighter clothes. So when we have the sunshine, and sometimes we were commenting this summer about hiking in extreme heats, We tend to avoid the months. We never go to locations where it's most likely to be extremely hot. We go to other locations in the summer which are less boiling hot, like Norway. But if we do go somewhere and it turns out to be hotter than expected, the guide will take you to a shady path. You'll walk earlier in the morning, and we adapt for the weather. But always we give you the tips for your kit and give you the detail of what you need to bring for that specific trip. We do also, back to our network of women, we work with a company called Findra, who is a woman who started her own outdoor clothing company in Scotland. She really focuses on merino wool. She gives us a discount, but we do seek out sustainable providers. We look at products that are made and manufactured in countries we go to. So it's all about really thinking about also the products that you buy and wear, and wherever we can, we support women who are creating them. And finally, what do women say? These are just some things that I would say is we do hear the word transformational. We hear the word feeling cared for. We get TripAdvisor reviews. We get feedback. We listen to that. We get feedback that we could improve things, which we take seriously. If that's what someone wants to share, we'll do that. But we really do see, because women come back and back, that they've had a good time. They've arrived as strangers, they've left as friends. There's all sorts of positive feedback that we hear. There's a lot of active women out there, that's for sure. That's what I've known these last few years doing Walking Women. And they're very creative, very courageous, and very inspiring.